We are live.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Harrisburg City Council's legislative session. Today is Tuesday, May 11, 2021. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:00 p.m. Ms. Houston, please do the roll call.
Okay. Mr. Allett,
Present.
Ms. Bowers,
Present.
Ms. Daniels,
Here.
Ms. Green,
Present.
Mr. Madsen,
Here.
Mr. Majors,
Here.
President Williams.
Present. Okay, thank you, Ms. Houston. We'll now move on to the invocation. Mr. Majors.
Thank you, President Williams.
You're welcome.
If we could all bow our heads in a moment of silence for the Hearn family who is mourning the death of Mr. Joe Hearn of Harrisburg. And let's also continue to pray for all those that are being impacted by COVID in this emergency pandemic that we are currently experiencing. Let's have a moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Majors. We now move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Green.
Thank you, President Williams. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Green. We now move on to communications. We have none this evening. We now move forward with courtesy of the floor. Ms. Houston, do we have anyone who would like to speak to City Council at this moment?
And hang on one second. In the participant side, we have attendees. Unfortunately, there's only one attendee. And
Okay.
then, for public comment, for email, there are none this evening. So I would say no.
Okay. Would you move forward and allow the participant to interact with the City Council, please?
The participant hasn't requested to speak. I guess I'm confused.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. We now move on to approval of minutes. Approval of minutes for the legislative session of April 27, 2021. Council members, there are any questions, comments, deletions, or omissions? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved. We now move on to reports of committee. Report from Chair Williams on the work session of May 4th, 2021, which is myself. I am Chair of the Administration Committee. The Administration Committee discussed Resolution 36 of 2021, which was a resolution appointing Mr. Richard D. Cox to serve on the board of the Susquehanna Regional Transportation Authority. Mr. Cox has 30 years plus of experience in all phases of public finance and administration and management. He presently serves as administrator for parking at the city of Harrisburg and is a board member on the Capital Area Transit Board. There is no conflict with regard to his serving on this particular board. I'm asking council members to vote in the affirmative for Mr. Richard D. Cox to serve on the Susquehanna Regional Transportation Board Authority. That is the end of my committee report. And I now will move on to report from Chair Allett on the work session of May 4th, 2021. Mr. Allett, are you ready with your report?
I am, thank you. Up for discussion at the budget and finance portion of the meeting were three resolutions. First was Resolution 29, which is a resolution of City Council to authorize and approve the third amended and restated settlement agreement between the City of Harrisburg and AMBAC. This is an updated agreement, and to put a lot of technical terms into as simple as I can possibly do it, it changed the terms to provide more upfront payments to help accommodate for settling the debt associated with the stadium. As we know, that we did not have baseball last summer, so we are on the hook for quite a bit there. And so part of the restated settlement allows us to kind of pay that down quicker and avoid some longer term obligations on the debt. Dan Conley was present to provide a much better explanation than I ever could, but I do encourage my colleagues to support this, as I do think it really does put us in the best path forward to resolve and further handle the debt associated with our obligations. Also up for discussion was Resolution 30 of 2021. This was a resolution authorizing us to negotiate and enter into a contract with Stifel Nicholas and Company for the purpose of providing underwriting services to the city of Harrisburg. This resolution is important and actually a very positive sign for us, because as we prepare to enter the bond market once again, we want to have assistance helping us as we prepare to negotiate and look at any type of settlement, whether it be debt or otherwise in borrowing. So this is an important piece for us to be able to enter into, and I encourage my colleagues to support this resolution. Lastly, up for discussion was Resolution 33, which is a resolution authorizing the city of Harrisburg to enter into a professional services agreement with Mayor Dussel for the purpose of providing audit prep services for the city of Harrisburg. This is not a new firm for us to work with. Mayor Dussel had been a part of our audit prep services historically, and we are engaging them to help assist with preparing for the audit. Vitally important for us as we continue to look at our overall systems in place and have that information. They have the most historical knowledge associated with the city. So I also encourage my colleagues to support this resolution as well. Therefore concludes my update on the committee discussion for budget and finance. You're on mute, Wanda. You're still on mute.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Allen. We now move on to report from Chair Mattson on the work session of May 4th, 2021. Mr. Mattson, are you ready with your report? You're muted now, Mr. Mattson.
No, I know. You weren't popping
Okay.
up in the window on the screen. Sorry. I am ready with my report, President Williams.
That's okay.
On Tuesday, May 4th, Community and Economic Development Committee discussed Resolution 32. Resolution 32, a resolution approving a preliminary final land development plan to convert an existing 8-story office building into a mixed-use building featuring residential units with commercial space on the first floor located at 112 Market Street. Planning Director Jeff Knight gave an overview of the plan. The applicant was present as well. Mr. Brad Jones fielded questions from the committee around MWBE participation, affordable housing, affordability, and there was, beyond that, there was nothing of note really to report. The plan is in compliance with all of the city's rules and regulations, and I would encourage my colleagues to vote in affirmation of the resolution. And that concludes my report for the Community and Economic Development Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mattson. We now will move on to report from Chair Bowers on the work session of May 4, 2021. Ms. Bowers, are you ready with your report?
Yes, thank you, President Williams. Good evening. On Tuesday, May 4th, 2021, the Building and Housing Committee met to discuss Resolution 34 of 2021. Resolution 34 of 2021 is a resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Impact Harrisburg to procure and carry out a disparity study to support the adoption of a program that improves opportunities for diverse business vendors and contractors to successfully participate in public procurement and contracting with the city. Mrs. Sheila Dow Ford, Executive Director of Impact Harrisburg, provided an overview of the purpose of a disparity study and shared a tentative timeline. The purpose of a disparity study is a way to provide an audit of the procurement processes of a municipality to show areas for improvement and share areas where we are excelling in an equitable process. Ms. Hillary Green, Procurement Services and Compliance Manager, Ms. Nona Watson, Director of Community and Economic Development, and Mrs. Sheila Dow Ford, Executive Director of Impact Harrisburg, have formed a subcommittee that meets on a weekly basis. Their short-term goal is to draft the RFP. The Impact Harrisburg Board has approved the draft of the RFP. The RFP is seeking a vendor that can look at procurement processes, providing an assessment of what we are doing well, list MBE, LGBTQ, women, veteran, and disabled-owned businesses, providing opportunities to bid, service agreements, and negotiations on contracts, and generally engage in business with the city. Also providing opportunities to work with other vendors and subcontractors. Capital Region Water and other local entities have conducted similar studies related to MBE, WBE participation. The data compiled from those studies will be utilized. Impact Harrisburg has allocated up to $125,000, and the city of Harrisburg will allocate up to $125,000 for this study. All information related to the cost can be found in the Memorandum of Understanding. Ms. Hillary Green will serve as the primary point of contact for the city. Council members ask questions about an accurate list of businesses, the return on investment, reliability of data, methods of data collection, and overall goals of the study. Ms. Green shared that the 2018 MBE, WBE, DBE directory that's currently housed on the city's website is being updated by the Community and Economic Development Department. Ms. Green also shared that the city utilizes a list of over 400 registered vendors. She believes the disparity study will assist in streamlining the process. Mr. Neil Grover, city solicitor, shared that data is needed to legislate. The data would reveal if the percentage available and percentage awarded are disproportionate and would reveal that a legislative remedy is required. The disparity study will provide a long-term data source to craft a legislative adjustment to the participation ordinance. A tentative timeline of the following dates was shared. May 25th would be the release date for the RFP. June 1st, an information session would be held. June 11th would be the deadline for any questions. June 18th would be the response deadline to the responses to the questions received. Finally, June 25th, the RFP responses deadlines, the final deadline. Again, that's the tentative timeline. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Bowers. We'll now move on to report from Chair Daniels on the work session of May 4, 2021. Ms. Daniels.
Sorry, I think my button keeps sticking. Anyways, we met on the Committee for Parks and Rec met on May 4th. And in that meeting, we discussed Resolution 35, which is a grant application to the National Recreation and Parks Association for the Resilient Parks Access Grant. The grant amount is for $500,000, and it includes the purpose of the grant is to help us support community-driven projects and to make sure that as we do those, that we are emphasizing, prioritizing Black, Indigenous, people of color, low-income, LGBTQ, and immigrant and refugee, as well as people with physical and cognitive disabilities in both in service as well as in inclusion in the development of the projects. There's a pretty quick turnaround on this grant, so we should be hearing a response as soon as it's within a few weeks of it being submitted. It seems like a really good application, and I would encourage my fellow council members to support this grant application. And that's it. Thank you.
Council members, we now will move on to the agenda. Ordinance for first reading tonight, we have none. Ordinance for amendment, we have none. And followed by ordinance for final passage, we have none as well. We now will move on to resolutions. Ms. Houston, please read Resolution 29 of 2021 into record.
Resolution 29 of 2021 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Harrisburg authorizing and approving the third amended and restated settlement agreement between the City of Harrisburg and AMBAC Assurance Corporation.
Is there any additional questions or comments, council members? Hearing none, Ms. Houston, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
yes,
Mr. Madsen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
President Williams.
Yes,
Resolution 29 of 2021 passes.
thank you. Moving on to resolution 30.
Resolution 30 of 2021 is a resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into a professional services agreement with Stifel, Nicholas and Company, Incorporated, for the purpose of providing underwriting services to the City of Harrisburg.
Any additional questions or comments, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote, Ms. Houston.
Mr. Allett,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
yes,
Mr. Madsen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
President Williams.
Yes,
Resolution 30 of 2021 passes.
moving on to resolution 32.
Resolution 32 of 2021 is a resolution approving a preliminary final land development plan to convert an existing 8-story office building into a mixed-use building featuring residential units with commercial space on the first floor located at 112 Market Street.
Any additional questions or comments, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
yes,
Mr. Madsen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
President Williams.
Yes,
Resolution 32 of 2021 passes.
moving on to resolution 33.
Resolution 33 of 2021 is a resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to enter into a professional services agreement with Mayor Dossel, PC, for the purpose of providing audit preparation services to the City of Harrisburg.
Any additional questions or comments, council members? Hearing none.
Yes, President Williams.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Majors.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and just a reminder, I think it's Vice President Allett. This is the second year of their them providing these specific preparation services, correct?
Yes. So this is not about the audit specifically. We have another firm that we work with. This is the prep for the new firm we just recently transitioned to.
Okay. All right. So this is just the prep. Okay. Got it. All right. I just wanted to make sure. Thanks.
Okay, Mr. Majors?
Yes, President Williams.
Okay. So we need your vote, Mr. Majors.
No, you have to call a vote yet.
Oh, no, you have to call the vote. That was the question. Sorry.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought I had called, okay. Any other questions? My apologies. Please call the vote, Ms. Houston.
Mr. Allett,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
yes,
Ms. Daniels, I'm sorry, just for clarification, you were a little muted. Was that a yes?
Yes.
Mr. Madsen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
President Williams.
Yes.
Resolution 33 of 2021 passes.
Moving on to resolution 34.
Resolution 34 of 2021 is a resolution, excuse me, is a resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Impact Harrisburg to procure and carry out a disparity study to support the adoption of a program that improves, opportunities for diverse business vendors and contractors to successfully participate in public procurement and contracting with the city.
Council members, any additional questions or comments?
Yes.
Majors?
Yes, President Williams. Yes. And I said, I don't know if there's anyone on from the administration that can answer this, but I know some of the questions that would come out of a disparity study are we have certain things currently in ordinance about participation levels on city contracts. I know particularly dealing with engineering and anything we do on city. Do we have those numbers that can be made available to council?
Hi, Mr. Woolley, are you there?
Yes, we can get those numbers to you. I know that Wayne has his numbers, and we can gather the others from Hillary. I can try and get those to you by tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, I think this is just because I know a lot of the information that a disparity study is supposed to collect. Some of that information we should have, which could serve as a basis for us to be able to continue the work of the study. And the other thing is, I know we have the tentative timeline. Is there any reason as to why we would need to get done at this session and we could wait until we receive those numbers to vote? I'm just asking. This is just a question. Is there anything in the timeline that's been discussed between Impact Harrisburg and the city that a week or two would make it would have any negative impact on how things are moving forward?
So from my perspective, probably not, but I don't want to speak for Nona. Nona is the one that's been the tip of the spear here. So I don't know if she's on, if she can comment on that.
I see Ms. Bowers.
I think that there is some time sensitivity, as they, within their tentative timeline, they shared that they would like to make the RFP public on May 25th. So we would need to take some action today.
Okay. And then just the last question from my perspective, would there be a role for council to be able to serve on any of the in the selection process? I know the city we have Hillary, Nona, and then we'll have Impact Harrisburg as well. Just in terms of the overall RFP selection process, would there be a role for council there?
Mr. Woolley.
I see Councilwoman Bowers may have something on there as well.
I think our role would be, as indicated by Mrs. Sheila Dalford during our last meeting, we would have an opportunity to interview those. I don't know the selection criteria, what that would look like, but we will have an opportunity to interview those that may be high on their selection list.
Okay, all right, that's exactly my initial thought. What understanding was that they would be interviewing us, whoever the selection, whoever the vendor or the contractor would be, to conduct it with interview members of council. I just wasn't sure how and when council would play a role in that selection process. So thank you for that clarification, Chair Bowers.
Any additional questions, Mr. Majors?
No, President Williams, that concludes my questions.
Okay, anyone else with questions? Okay, moving on. Ms. Houston, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Madsen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
President Williams.
Yes,
Resolution 34 of 2021 passes.
thank you. Moving on to resolution 35.
Resolution 35 of 2021 is a resolution of the City of Harrisburg ratifying an application for a National Recreation and Park Association Resilient Park Access Grant and coaching for the purpose of enhancing community engagement and furthering the community's access to and stewardship of the city's park system.
Council members, any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote, Ms. Houston.
Mr. Allett,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Madsen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
President Williams.
Yes,
Resolution 35 of 21 passes.
Thank you. Moving on to Resolution 36.
Resolution 36 of 2021 is a resolution appointing Mr. Richard D. Cox to serve on the board of the Susquehanna Regional Transportation Authority.
Any additional questions or comments, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
yes,
Mr. Madsen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
President Williams.
Yes.
Resolution 36 of 2021 passes.
Council members, we're going to move on to Resolution 37, but I would like a motion to suspend the rules to discuss 37. This is a time-sensitive resolution. May I have a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Houston, please read Resolution 37.
Resolution 37 of 2021 is a resolution authorizing the city of Harrisburg to apply for a Department of Community and Economic Development Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Program grant for $250,000 to carry out the vision of the Reservoir Park Master Plan by funding construction of the Chutes Complex, which will, among other things, expand a parking lot in Reservoir Park, add traffic calming elements to the existing roadway, convert a portion of Reservoir Park to a walking path, and construct a tot lot playground.
Who's here for the administration this evening, please? Mr. Baker?
I think Kevin Sanders is on, President Williams.
Okay. Mr. Sanders?
Hi, I'm here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You have the floor, Mr. Sanders.
Yes, so we'll be extending the parking lot at the current parking lot at the band shell as part of this grant application. If approved, I would bring us up to 88 parking spots. We would also add in a tot lot playground that would go into where the pretty much where the existing swing set is currently. Would make this area more green. It would get rid of some of the playground equipment that is there because the other playground equipment would already be replaced with the chutes and ladders playground, which is phase 1 of this project. This would essentially be phase 2 of the Reservoir Park project.
Okay, Mr. Sanders, what would a tot lot include?
Some play equipment, swing set, 2 to 5 focus playground area, whereas the chutes and ladders is much more of a 5 to 12-year-old focus playground, as well as a little bit older as well.
Okay. I'll open up for questions. I'll start with Ms. Bowers. Do you have any questions, Ms. Bowers?
I was unmuting. No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Madsen?
No questions for me, thanks.
Mr. Allett?
No questions for me. Thank you.
Ms. Green?
I don't have any questions for this. Thank you.
Mr. Majors?
Yes, just a couple. So in terms of, so this is specifically just for those 2 pieces that you mentioned, and or is it seems like the focus of it is more on the parking, correct? I just want to make sure I'm looking at everything correctly. The focus of this piece of the grant is for the parking.
Yes, this will definitely, as far as accessibility as well, that aspect is a huge component of the parking, as well as ADA accessibility down in that area, underneath where the band shell is, the roadway, making the road safer as well. But it also, it's even though it's phase 2, it's a separate project from phase 1. They essentially connect. The 2 projects connect to one another. They're just, it's easy to separate them from a construction, but they are tied together.
Okay. And the tot lot, will that also have ADA accessibility for will the tot lot have ADA accessibility?
Yes, whenever the parking lot's constructed, there would be access directly from parking spaces to the tot lot, as well as down from the chutes and ladders. Because the road will be closed, people will be able to enter enter the tot lot from that area as well.
Okay, and in terms of the tot lot, I'm assuming that will that have a fence off area as well to separate itself from the chutes and ladders, or is it just going to have the equipment there that is more tot friendly?
It won't be quote unquote fenced. It won't necessarily be fenced off, but it'll be greened off, like green, like rocks and trees and things. It'll be completely separate in location from where chutes and ladders playground is itself. Chutes and ladders playground's up higher. The tot lot will actually be lower. You'll cross the road where Reservoir Park Drive is. That road itself will be closed, so access to it will be very easy at this point. If you're at the pavilion where the pavilion is currently, the road that's behind it, that road will no longer be there.
Okay, so the road. Okay, so the access road behind the band shell is where the cutoff's happening.
Yes.
Correct. So
yes,
you would have some entrance for, I'm assuming, Parks and Rec staff or anyone that's utilizing the band shell to access the rear of the band shell, but going any further than the band shell would be cut off, so that accessibility moving past the band shell towards the pavilion will be cut off. Or
right.
will you still be utilizing the storage underneath the pavilion? Is that accessible as well?
Yes, that'll be access to in-house staff, and then the parking lot itself will be the extension to the roadway. It'll reconnect on the opposite end where there's a current really small parking lot outside of the playground. It'll connect right by that and go up past Artist Drive up to the Civil War Museum on the rear end.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that's how.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just trying to visualize it. So that will be the access for folks that need to utilize the under storage for the pavilion. The cutoff, so the top parking lot near the playground, that will be access for people to access the pavilion.
Yeah, so we'll go to the pavilion from there. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm just trying to visualize where all the cutoffs are. Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Majors. Ms. Daniels.
Yeah, why is this being presented with such short notice?
The grant application is due at the end of this month. During our grant review of upcoming timelines and things of that nature with grant applications, this one was not pushed back. Some of the other grants were moved around as far as timeline. So from a funding standpoint, this was a good time for us to try for this specific grant. We had some changes as far as some of the things that we'll be eligible for, and the time was a little tight, but we think this is a great application for us.
So, how long ago did you all know that this grant was out there?
Well, we knew the grant was out there, but from a timeline standpoint, there's a lot of other moving pieces as far as which grant we should go for at what time and what year. And being that we were still working on phase 1 of our project, one of the things is we've been waiting for word from DCD from last year to see if we would get this grant. And we're still actually waiting to hear word. So we sort of thought we were going to hear word, and they pushed back some timelines. So we initially thought that the grant window would be moved back because the previous year hasn't even been awarded. So we don't want to get left not applying.
So I guess as a group, you initially thought the deadline would have been extended and you had more time to finish the first part, and then it turned out the deadline was not extended.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sanders. Any additional questions, council members? Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Can I have a motion to go back into the work of the legislative session?
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you. Ms. Houston, please call the vote for Resolution 37, 2021.
Mr. Allett,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Madsen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
President Williams.
Yes,
Resolution 37 of 2021 passes.
thank you. Moving on to Resolution 38 of 2021.
Resolution 38 of 2021 is a resolution authorizing the city of Harrisburg to enter into an easement agreement with Crown Castle Fiber LLC for the purpose of installing underground fiber optic cable within various public rights of way and Riverfront Park for the Penn National Insurance Building.
That will be placed in Public Works Committee. And we now move on to Resolution 39.
Resolution 39 of 2021 is a resolution approving the preliminary final subdivision plan to subdivide the property at 1103 South Front Street into two separate parcels in order to develop a tiny home village for homeless veterans on the southern end of the property.
That will be placed in the Community Economic Development Committee. We now move on to old business. Council members. Is there any old business that you would like to discuss? Mr. Majors?
Oh, no, nothing,
Okay.
nothing in
thought you
old
put your-
business.
Sorry, okay.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Okay, we now move on to new business. Mr. Mattson, I'm sure you want to announce the dates again?
Yes, just to let everybody know, we have dates set for when we are going to have town halls regarding the comprehensive plan. As folks will recall through our discussions digitally, we thought we would give the opportunity to the public to have in-person meetings for those that may not have access to technology or may have struggled with it. So the dates will be June 9th, that is a Wednesday, at 6 p.m. at Reservoir Park. Then the following Wednesday, June 16th at 6 o'clock at Italian Lake. Looking forward to the discussion and hearing what folks in the community have to say about the process of the comprehensive plan thus far. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mattson. Anyone else for new business?
Yes,
Mr. Major.
President Williams.
Mr. Major.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Just two things, real quick. The first, I know we'll be having further discussions as a body, but this is just some national news that's going to be helping a lot of communities. So I just want folks to be able to begin the process of looking for information if they're interested in this. So just yesterday, the federal government released information on how states will be able to use the American Rescue Plan dollars. There are direct allocations coming to cities, including the city of Harrisburg. So if you go to the Treasury website and look up that, you'll see how the funds can be utilized. And there's about $47 million that is slated for the city of Harrisburg. I know as a community, we'll be having a larger conversation on the use of those funds and how they can be used to, support public health, potentially, help us with some of the infrastructure needs. I know that President Biden and has been discussing. So I look forward to that conversation as a community and council and the administration on how we can move forward on those dollars. The second thing is, as a legislative body, we seek information, from the administration on a regular basis. And one of the pieces that I had sent an email on, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to get some confirmation or just some of the reporting back has been, some of the data that we, have been requesting regarding the police department. We provided additional, funding in our last budget to get analysts and folks on board so that they can compile a lot of the information that we all have been requesting. I've sent the email that has been unresponded to. So I'm just hoping that we can get some, be able to work with the administration on getting some of that information released to council and then to the public on the information that can be made publicly available. So look forward to that. And I know, you know, we're just continuing to work on some of the other things, but just want to be able to, you know, get an update on that so we can, you know, work to address some of the issues in our community. And, you know, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Majors. Anyone else?
Yes,
Oh, Ms. Bowers, okay.
thank you. I just wanted to note that the free summer enrichment program administered through the Parks and Recreation Department will resume. It will feature group activities, leisure play, arts and crafts, field games, free time, nature walks, dodgeball, kickball, wiffle ball, basketball, soccer, and other fun activities for kids ages 6 through 15. They are currently hiring pool managers, lifeguards, site leaders, recreation assistants, and pool monitors. Qualified individuals should be 15 years of age and older and interested in working with children. You can access the application online at harrisburgpa.gov/summer-enrichment-program. The application deadline is Friday, May 14th, 2021. For additional information, please call 717-232-3017. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bowers. Anyone else? I wanted to alert the public that since January 1st, 2021, Capital Regional Water has developed a customer assistant program. The program overview is Capital Regional Water recognizes the financial hardship facing many of our customers. To assist those with limited income or struggling to pay monthly bills, Capital Regional Water is developing a phased customer assistance program. The following program components are available to assist customers facing hardship. Available programs are credit assistance, leak adjustment, payment plan agreements, water shut-off moratorium, emergency medical condition confirmations, service line, and lateral assistance. And there's also a newer program called the credit assistance. The credit assistance provides up to a $200 credit to residential customers that meet the qualifying income guidelines. You may contact Capital Regional Water at 888-510-0606, capitalregionwater.com/customer assistance, or at capitalregionwater.com. The language is in English and Spanish. Anything else, council members, before we adjourn the meeting tonight?
Do you want to announce our meeting?
No, after the meeting,
Okay,
after we have it.
okay.
Okay. Anything else, council members? Okay, I have a motion to adjourn, please.
But I have one question. Do we
Yes.
want to announce that there will be no meeting next week for the election, and then also for May 25th meeting? Do we want to make any clarification for those meetings?
Do we have any additional legislations that's going to be on May 25th, along with the legislation that's coming from you, Mr. Grover?
I would hope that there's a couple pieces that are coming, but we're waiting for the moving parts to come together. One of them has to do with some initial authorizations related to the federal ARP money.
Okay.
One of them has to do with the last seat on the new transportation board. They're both time sensitive,
Okay.
but we are waiting for additional information to move those forward.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Houston, I will announce that there will not be a work session next week, May 18th. That's election day, but we will have a work session and immediately following a legislative session on May 25th. Mr. Grover, are we still looking for board vacancies?
We have many board vacancies.
Did you please get a list of those vacancies to the council members, please?
Certainly.
Okay. I'm sorry, did I interrupt you? Were you going to indicate what vacancies were available?
No, I think there's many, and a number of them are actually council appointments. So,
Sure.
But we are desperate in need of a person at the zoning board in particular. We're
Okay,
down to 2 people, so if they're deadlocked, things don't pass.
okay,
And the audit committee has 2 openings, which is significant. And we have 2 boards still. The LERTA, or the new CLEAC board, has to be filled,
okay.
and the new OPEB trust board has to be filled. And then the most immediate is the transportation board, which has to have its last member in order to commence. And they have a very tight deadline to do it.
Okay. So do we have one member on that board?
We have
have
1
one
member and we have 1
Okay,
more
one
new seat
vote.
on that board.
What, council
And-
has 1 vote on that board, right?
No, it's the mayor appoints and the council confirms for the.
Okay, I thought we had a vote on that particular board. Okay, all right.
Okay,
Okay, council members, just please get that information to me, Mr. Grover, and we will look for someone
certainly.
as well. Because there are some council appointments that we do have in place.
Quite a few, yes.
Okay, so may I have a motion to adjourn and a second, please?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, meeting is officially adjourned. Please, council members, get back on the web for a Zoom for a executive session. Thank you and have a good evening. I'll see you in a few